For 250 years, America has been the greatest experiment in human liberty the world has ever seen. From the Declaration of Independence to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. We built a republic where government serves the people. But today, we're standing on the edge of disaster. The Democratic Party as we knew it is dying. In its place, the radical DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. It's rising fast. Recent polls show the shift. A record 38% of voters now think moving towards socialism would be a good thing. Among Democrats, it's even worse. If they succeed, the First Amendment, our cornerstone of freedom, will be the first thing to go. This isn't hyperbole. History proves it, and the warning signs are flashing red right now. Hello, welcome back to the Angry Americans. I'm your host, Anthony, and today we're talking about catastrophic activities in our country, the loss of our bureaucratic society. If we lose the First Amendment, and we will lose the First Amendment if we go socialist. Look around the world. Find one country that's socialist that hasn't happened to. Just one. Doesn't exist. Prior to 1776, the colonists were called American colonists. The land was called America. The people were under British rule. Prior to our declaring our independence, they didn't have freedom of speech. They weren't able to speak out against British rule, British tyranny. It's the main reason why the revolution was formed. Every other right that we have is based off the First Amendment and us having the freedom of speech. Because along with the freedom of speech is freedom of religion. So if we lose our freedom of speech, we also lose our freedom of religion. Again, not one socialist society, country exists today or in history that maintained freedom of speech, freedom of religion. We lose freedom of press, freedom of assembly. Again, I challenge you, find one country, one nation, one instance in history. The old Democratic Party, the one that at least pretended to represent the working people, is being replaced from within. Look at the numbers. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer's approval rating is cratered. Once around 40% or better, he's now underwater. Negative ratings, even among Democrats. Meanwhile, the DSA-aligned candidates are winning big in primaries. Mamdani, Democratic Socialist, is now the mayor of New York City. His allies are sweeping races. The DSA isn't fringe anymore. They're reshaping the party. Overall, the Democratic Party favorability sits around 30% favorable to 59% unfavorable nationally. Polls confirm the uprising. A Gallup poll shows 54% of Americans still view capitalism favorably, but it's dropping. And among Democrats, socialism is more popular than ever. 66% positive versus only 42% for capitalism. A Fox News poll found a record 38% want to move towards socialism. It'll be the fall of America. It'll be the loss of our Constitution. In New York and California, where socialism practices are prominent, industries and businesses are fleeing. They're leaving in droves for the greener pastures of Texas, Tennessee, Florida, and they think they can tax their way out of it. Well, tax the rich. The rich will move. They have the means. Socialism only works until you run out of other people's money. As they leave, so does your tax base. You can't tax the poor. You can only tax the middle class so much. But yet they keep pushing and they keep gaining ground. We, the people, we, the angry Americans, we have to put a stop to it. We have to get involved. You and I, all of us. Get involved in your local politics. Congress is never going to do anything about it. If they were, they would have. And it's easy to say, oh, it's the Dems, it's the liberals. It's not. It is. But it's not just one party. Republicans, as we talked about last week, still hold a majority. And they're doing nothing. How is that any better? They're sitting back, letting it happen. Their complacency makes them complicit. We have had enough. That's why I've announced I'm running for Nevada State Assemblyman in 2028. My primary goal will be congressional term limits. Even that aside, we the people have the power. We have to stop voting people in that are obviously anti-America. They call it democratic socialism, but don't be fooled. Their agenda? Government takeover of healthcare, wealth taxes, rent controls, cutting the military, and moving towards social ownership of production. It's a direct threat to our constitutional republic, and the results would be catastrophic. The Democratic Party is not the same as what I grew up with. Anybody that can remember Clinton and before, you should not be able to recognize the party. Every Democratic president since Clinton has gutted the military. Fortunately, every Republican president since Clinton has built the military. Why does that matter? It matters because, as we talked about last time, every military personnel swears an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Our military will not turn against us, not for standing up to a tyrannical government, not for calling the government out on their unconstitutional activities. If we just riot for the sake of rioting, yeah, they're going to come at us. That's their duty. If we the people, behave against the Constitution, they'll come get us. And they should. They swore an oath. But that same oath protects us against our government. So by cutting the military, they're cutting their own resistance. They're also making it possible for outside countries to invade and conquer us. Right now, today, and in our lifetime, that's never been possible. We've always had the strongest, baddest military in the world. Nobody can touch us unless the democratic socialists of America get their way. But the only way they can get their way is if we allow them, if we let them, if we basically give them permission by not voting them out, by not running ourselves. Get involved with your local politics. Your freedoms depend on it. If you can't or you won't or you just don't want to, support someone who does. Someone who's a constitutionalist, someone who's a true patriot. Not a lifelong politician, not a socialist. It doesn't work. Nothing threatens our freedom more than the loss of the First Amendment. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, freedom of petition. These are the foundation. Under socialism, speech is only allowed if it strengthens the system. Soviet constitutions guaranteed free speech, but only in line with socialist goals. The result? Total censorship. If you truly believe socialism is the way to go, there's two ways for you to get it. One, if we the people allow it by doing nothing to stop it. Or two, pick a social country, any of them. Russia, North Korea, China, Cuba, and move there. We the people, we the angry Americans, we'll fundraise for you. We'll help you pack your bags. We'll see you off. We'll say, see you later. Not been nice knowing you. I know that sounds kind of harsh. This is the United States of America. If you don't like it, read the history. Those of you who want to burn the flag, want to stomp on the flag, want to say the president is fascist. He's literally Hitler. He's a Nazi. All MAGAs are Nazis. I support your right to be able to say all that. I support your right to be able to stomp on the American flag and to burn it. I don't agree with it, but I support your right to do it. Because the First Amendment means as much for you as it does for me. I would never want to take that away from you. Neither would our military. They would take a bullet defending your right to be anti-American as quickly and as easily and as much as defending their own or any patriot who's standing up for his country. That will disappear with socialism. Look at any socialist country today or throughout history. Their military did not support the population. Oftentimes, many times, they put them to death for speaking out against the government, which we all have the right to do, and we take for granted. It's time to stop taking our freedoms, our liberties for granted. Because if we're not careful, we're going to lose them. It was July 17th of 1775. John Adams wrote a letter to his wife, Abigail. And in that letter, it says, "But the constitution of government, once changed from freedom, can never be restored. Liberty, once lost, is lost forever. When the people once surrender their share in the legislature and their right of defending the limitations upon the government and of resisting every encroachment upon them, they can never regain it." Now, never is a long, long time. I would hope it's not true, but I can see the point. We can all see the point. And it's probably true. Look at what's going on in Iran right now. Wait. Go beyond the lamestream media. Do some research. Look around your community. Find those who are Iranian but not radical Islamic. Talk to the people who are Persian. Not necessarily only. That's as bad as just listening to the mainstream media. Sorry, lamestream media. Once the Ayatollahs took over, once the IRGC was instituted, they execute their own citizens. They have no freedom of speech. They've tried several times to take their country back. They've been unsuccessful. 47 years. Now they've got some help. Maybe we can get it done. Certainly not been an easy thing. If we're not careful, we're looking at America. I am proud to be an American. I am proud to be a constitutionalist. I'm proud to be a patriot. I don't say this as, oh, America is doomed. Oh no, poor us, it's gonna suck. This is a call to action. Because we are still the majority. We talked about teaching our children and our grandchildren, because a lot of them, we didn't. Okay, you know what? We made a mistake. It's never the wrong time to do the right thing. Talk to them now. Patiently. Not always necessarily kindly. Arguing is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it gets heated. Sometimes we need to step back. But just because we disagree doesn't mean we shouldn't and can't talk. We have to. The catastrophic effects are clear. Economic ruin, lost innovation, dependency on government, weakened national security, and a divided nation instead of we the people. We're not doomed yet, but the 250-year experiment is on the edge. Recent polls show the Democratic base drifting hard left, while the country overall still prefers the system that has built our success. That's encouraging. But we need to wake up, Americans. Get involved locally. Support candidates who defend the Constitution, not those trying to transform it. Push for term limits. Vote like your freedoms depend on it, because they do. If this resonates, if this means something to you, like the video, share the video, and become a subscriber to the Angry Americans. Hit the bell. Comment below. I stand for the First Amendment. Let's see how many comments we can get that say, I stand for the First Amendment. As someone running for office to fight for these principles, I know we can turn this around. This is the Angry Americans. We the people, we the Angry Americans. We love this country, we despise the government outreach, and we will not go quietly into socialism. We'll see you next time.